Hello my fellow hunters and welcome to Monster Hunter Marv episode 91 for Monster Hunter Wilds still update 1. In this video I'm comparing the Dragon Elemental switch axes only. So I didn't compare them to raw switch axes because I'm going to make this in a separate video. I'm also not including the new armor pieces because there isn't really a new meta when it comes to the armor sets or armor skill pieces. So there's a thing like with Scorcher, but I'm going to make later a separate video about this. The goal is only to compare the current best Dragon Elemental switch axes and their relative damage output. So the three best switch axes are currently the Zoh Shia switch axe, which is almost exactly as strong as the Gormagala switch axe together with the new Zoh Shia switch axe. And I'm also explaining you the optimal decoration usage for the weapon. So we're just going to forge upgrade weapon, go to switch axe, and as you can see here we have the Zoh Shia switch axe with Dragonfire, 250 raw, minus 15% affinity, 2 level 3 slots. Yeah, so the only bad thing about this weapon is the bad sharpness management, and yes, Dragon Elemental damage output is pretty solid and also the highest through raw in the game. So one of the best switch axes before the title update. Also the Gormagala switch axe, and if you compare the stats with the Zoh Shia switch axe, they're almost the same. Gormagala switch axe has 200 true raw, and Zoh Shia switch axe has 20 raw more. About the affinity, Zoh Shia switch axe has 15% affinity less, and when it comes to element, also the Gormagala switch axe is better. So the difference between them is Gormagala switch axe has better element, better affinity, and Zoh Shia switch axe has 20 true raw more, which is a lot considering it's a power Fayal. When it comes to sharpness, Gormagala has awesome white sharpness, and I think I tested it for the Zoh Shia switch axe. Handicraft isn't absolute necessary, but considering switch axe eats a lot of white sharpness, you can use handicraft if you want as weapon skill, but it also works pretty well without. And we also have that equipment skill, which changes a lot, because today I already uploaded a formula how to calculate the average damage output of the new skill. It is like every 3 seconds there is a timer, and for the first time check, or how it's called, you have a 1 out of 3 chance to get 50 additional damage proc ignoring the hit zone. When it doesn't get triggered at the second chance, so at the 6 second time check, when you're doing in this time period a hit, you get a 2 out of 3 chance, and you get a 100% chance to get the additional 50 damage proc on the last hit. And if you're very lucky, like you can see in this formula, there's also a 1 out of 27 chance to get, for example, in 9 seconds up to 150 additional damage. Yes, but the chance is only 1 out of 27. Yes, then there are also included all the other chances, but I included it into the tab, so if you want to get a little bit more research, make sure to check this out. So let's come to my tab for the comparison. I don't know why it's blurred currently. I think I should do show this here a little bit different way. I think this works a little bit better. So as you can see, I'm still using the same armor set pieces, so it makes it a little bit easier to compare the weapons together, because the full Ganjanov 2-piece. So they made like an unannounced buff to maximum might, which I saw in a video, but I just used the same armor set to make a little bit better comparison. So for the first step, let's make it back to the original size. And I've also opened a tab with the calculator, which was that one, yes. So it's a little bit different than the original SwitchX calculator. I just put in the 3 weapons here, which is Gordia and Dashagoma SwitchX with 400 element. Every weapon had 100% uptime of white sharpness. Gormagala SwitchX and the Blazing Mahasiah, or how it's called. And yes, you can also see now the skills which used, like you can see on Dashaguma no critical boost, and on the other both SwitchX's critical boost level 3. Also 1 level of dragon attack. Instead on the Dashaguma SwitchX 3 levels of dragon attack, because we didn't need power longer on this weapon. Yes, and then you can see also here the other set skills, but considering there's armor skills, there is no difference in this case. And yeah, so where was the second tab? This one. You can see the weapon name, and I'm also, this is the first time I'm including in my calculations the amped uptime, which changes by level of power longer. Like you can see here, if I go to the previous tab, which was this one, yeah, so make it back to original size. If I changing the level of power longer, the mixed DPS will go up. For example, as you can see on the Dashaguma SwitchX, we have 0 levels of power longer, and this is the modifier for the amped uptime. If I increase this level, you can see here the amped uptime, it will get stronger. So as you can see, the Dashaguma SwitchX can get stronger, even stronger as the Gormagala SwitchX, considering you're using this level of power longer, which we are currently not really able to squeeze in because of the patch sharpness management, or you going to exclude your elemental damage decoration. In this case, you can increase the modifier and also make this X a bit stronger than the Gormagala SwitchX. But for my calculation, I just use max out elemental attack to max elemental damage, and yes, choose the calculated uptime modifier. And as you can see, power prolonger is absolutely necessary. If you go for the new other 2 SwitchXs for power prolonger level 0, you can see that the Dashaguma SwitchX does around let's say 25 DPS more than the other SwitchXs. So if every SwitchX of the 3 has power prolonger level 0, Dashaguma will outdamage them by 25 DPS. So that's the reason why power prolonger is absolute necessary, like you can see here, which I calculated. Okay, now I don't know, because I have too much tabs opened. This is the calculation for the different combos. So there are like 2 different combos you can make. You can make the HF, Heaven's Ward Flurry Charge. This combo only works on the Dashaguma SwitchX, and it requires a few less hits than the other combos. This is the Spiral Slash, or how it's called, Spiral Slash combo with 2 times Heaven's Ward Flurry Charge. This is the optimal charge for Power Fayal. And here you can see the DPS of the unamped combo, which in this case around 89 for every of the 3 SwitchXs. It's between 89 and 90, so it's almost the same. And then you can see here the if you're amped, I'm using the full release loop combo. So not only the full release slash, so the entire loop combo, including all the other combination which I showed in my previous video. I can show you the combos in this tab here. Sorry. Going to combo list, and here you can see the entire combos which I've used for this calculation. As you can see, for the full release slash combo, there's a lot of different moves, like here, spiral burst slash, and a lot of other stuff. Okay, let's go back to our tab. At the right side you can see here the elemental damage output. If you're going for full release slash, yes, on the Doshakuma it is more than 20% elemental damage, which is a lot, and on the power file switch axis it's between 10 and 15% of elemental damage output. Like explained here, Whiteflame Torrent is average DPS increase of 7.2, ignoring the hit zones, and at all it's a DPS increase of 4.6% to this weapon especially. These are the optimal decorations you can use on the Doshakuma switch X. Element 3 / handicraft level 1 on the first deco, and the rest is handicraft tools. For Goro Magala switch X, Poprongo level 3 / dragon attack level 1, and the rest is crit boost. And for the Zoh Shia switch X, you're going for enhancer / dragon tool. You can also for enhancer or handicraft tool, but I think it should be enough, so I recommend to go for enhancer / dragon tool, and the rest is critical tool 2 and critical tool 1. With this combination you have the best possible damage output of the weapon. Okay, let's go back to the sheet, and as you can see here, damage output of Doshakuma and Goro Magala is almost the same if using level 3 for Popolongo on Doshakuma switch X. And yes, without the set skill it would be pretty much the same, but you can see here that the weapon skill does a lot of difference. As you can see, 5% more DPS, so it is 10 DPS more than the other switch X's. So I would say it's currently the best Dragon Elemental switch X you can use. So now we come to the most important part of the video. It is the comparison with bars of the damage output between the weapons themselves. And it's very easy to see that the Blazing Mahasiah, or I always call this Zoh Shia, I think it's better just to say it's Zoh Shia switch X, has always, like, I don't know, 8 up to 10 DPS more compared to the other switch X's. So maybe you're wondering why Doshakuma and Goro Magala switch X has almost the same, exactly the same damage output, so only like 0.05% difference between these two weapons. Considering Goro Magala is, when the weapon is amped, has 6 DPS more. The reason is that Doshakuma has a better amped uptime. That means there is like a period of time where Goro is amped and only do 89 DPS, in which time the Doshakuma switch X does 180 DPS. So there is a time window where Doshakuma switch X does almost 100 DPS more than the Goro Magala switch X. That's why they are almost the same, and like I explained, Doshakuma can be better if you also using additional power longer. But compared, they can't really keep up with the Blazing Mahasiah Zoh Shia switch X, considering they're like 8 up to 10 DPS behind this weapon, and the main reason is the set skill or the weapon skill that the weapon has. So maybe I'm also planning to do some gameplay with this weapon or not, I will going to see, and also maybe later going to test a little bit more with the Scorcher skill, which can also be included into this weapon and compared to the raw weapon. So that's the video. Thanks so for watching. See you next time, guys.